There's fresh evidence today, if more were needed, of the depth of the global recession, this time from Europe and the economies of the 16 countries that make up the Eurozone. Germany's economy shrunk by a worse-than-expected 3.8% in the first quarter of 2009. This was its poorest performance since records began in 1970 and reflects the slump in global trade. In neighbouring France, the recession also deepened economic output, shrinking by a less severe 1.2%. And the European Union has now been in recession for a year. The last quarter saw it shrink by 2.5%. Analysts had forecast a drop of only 2%. Well, with all that gloom, it's rare to have some good economic news. The situation couldn't be more different to Europe's in Ghana. It's an economy with positive growth, no banking crisis, and attracting attention from international investors. Like some other African economies, it's so far escaped the worst of this global financial crisis. It's far from perfect, of course. The public finances are creaking, but it's regarded by some as potentially a significant economic player. Our senior economics correspondent Hugh Pym reports now from Accra.
An expanding banking system with no collapses, one of the world's best performing stock markets last year, and evidence of booming consumer spending. Welcome to Ghana.
For some, this sort of thing is the perception of what retailing is like in many parts of Africa, but not here in Accra, Ghana's capital, where this is seen as the real future, West Africa's largest shopping mall.
The British government's investment arm for the developing world, CDC, helped fund the centre, and open for less than a year, it's already proving a hit with locals and foreign visitors too. They come from Nigeria and Togo to sample Ghana's latest shopping experience. Thousands of jobs have been created at both retailers and suppliers. Nana Adjei, who's 23, left her job as a Wall Street banker to come home and work for her father's distribution business. She was attracted by the consumer buzz in this part of the capital.
It's right in the middle of the city. Everybody comes over here. It closes late at night. Apart from the shopping centers, they have like bars and the theaters and everything. So, I mean, businesses are really coming up all the time, and the mall helps a great deal.
Over at the Ghana Stock Exchange, they're highlighting last year's more than 50% gains. Prices have fallen back since, but they claim local companies are in better shape than many in the US and Europe.
The financial institutions that are collapsing left and right all over the place, that is not happening here. They're rather doing well. So you ask yourself, are they not being affected? They're affected to some extent, but they're still doing extremely well.
What percentage of the population has the incomes?
A banker told me his story, starting a retail operation from scratch 3 years ago, and now, unburdened by credit crisis losses, the plans to double it to 20 outlets by the end of this year.
The dream is to create a very professional Ghanaian bank, a world-class Ghanaian bank run by Ghanaian professionals and international professionals in banking.
I joined a group of British business leaders visiting Ghana to take a look at the economy. We were taken into agricultural territory, well north of Accra. These senior figures from banking and financial services were assessing the investment potential and how their commercial know-how might help farmers like these.
It's our view that the economies of Africa, Asia and the Middle East will come out of the recession quicker than the economies of America, the UK and Europe. And I think therefore it's absolutely essential that people start focusing on Africa and in particular Ghana.
There's a real sense of get up and go here. I think what struck me is the sort of bottoms-up entrepreneurial aspect of it. So I think having either by luck or design avoided the worst of the credit crunch, I think they've got a real opportunity here.
But this is a long way in every sense from the shopping mall. Rural incomes sustain little more than day-to-day existence. Raising living standards is no easy task.
Great progress has been done, which is very impressive, especially in the south of Ghana. But there are still big pockets of poverty in the north, which means there's still a lot more work that needs to be done.
Ghana's story is typical of some other African economies, Nigeria and Kenya, for example. Yes, there are short-term economic problems, but if they can weather the storms, it's felt that there could be exciting potential ahead.